Hello everyone and welcome to the official SWGT YouTube channel. My name is Sarusa. One of the most asked questions and most used features in SWGT is the Rune and Artifact Graphs. And interestingly enough, the Rune and Artifact Graphs are some of the oldest features in the platform. But as with all of SWGT, these features have been upgraded over time, and there's some nice features that I often hear from people that they had no idea about. So let's dive in and take a look. Let's take a look at the Rune Graph first. In order to get to the Rune Graph, we're going to go to Account Analytics and go to Runes. You can get to the same menu, of course, up in the top right corner. This graph shows me my runes as they currently are since my last upload, of course, and it shows me three different lines. The blue line is my current runes. The purple line and the orange line are going to be my current runes maxed out to Hero Gems and Grinds or Legend Gems and Grinds. I typically turn off the Legend because it's just a little bit depressing, of course, but other features of this graph, you can go up into the top right corner, go to filters. You can pick specific sets. You can choose whether you want to show ancients or not ancients. You can pick on specific slots. The graph defaults to rune efficiency, but you can also graph other things too, such as the rune potential or specific substats of the runes. You can pick how many runes you want to show. The sources, you can just ignore for the most part because it's not really much being used anymore. History, this is a nice feature. SWGT does track all of your rune changes over time. So let's say if I wanted to look at my runes, how much they've changed since the end of January. And then for additional players, I can pick a friend, I can pick a guildmate, all depending on whether you're on SWGT Personal or SWGT Guild. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Apply here. And you'll see that now I have a new line here in this pink dashed. And so if I turn off the Hero, you can see now that this is the change in my runes since the end of January. So I'm recording this video on the 17th of February. So in 17 days, I have improved my runes, about between 0.5% to 0.75%, which is actually pretty good as far as my overall rune quality. One of my favorite features of the graphs, if I turn history off and I go ahead and choose the potential for my graph, this shows me how much potential my runes have. Actually, let me go through and add another filter for ancient as no, because ancients are really hard to farm, of course. So I'm going to turn off legend here, and you'll see that for the most part, my blue line is above my quality for purple. But if I wanted to see what this rune is, so this rune right here, I have a rune, it's my 47th most efficient rune, and that rune has the ability of about a 1.5% increase. So if I actually click on the dot here, if you see with the dot as you move the mouse here, if you click on the dot, that'll actually bring up the rune itself, the overall details and everything that it is. So right now I have a hero gem on here, but I only have a blue grind on here. So in order to get myself from the 114.9% to the 116.7%, I want to put another grind on here in order to get grinded to 7 or better in order to get that efficiency up. And you can actually go through and toggle through all of your runes left and right as you go up and down the graph. So you don't have to go back to the graph and actually click. But like for instance, if we want to take a look at this one, it has a pretty big spike. So here's a fight rune that I have. It looks like I could get about 3% more from this. This has a really low gem on it. So in this case, I would probably regem this and then go ahead and regrind it in order to get that, lift in my overall rune quality. So very, very nice feature. I use it quite a lot. I use this in conjunction with the grind and gem optimizers to help better myself as far as getting my runes. You don't always need to farm more runes. Sometimes you just need to farm a lot of R5 and make your current runes better. So that's something that I've been told by Grom a number of times. Also down here at the bottom, we can go through and take a look at the top 10 substats by slot, and you can also do this by history as well. So if I wanted to go back to history, you can see that at least for Blade, things that are in green, these are actually new runes since the last time I had farmed. So another nice feature there. The summary button up at the top here will now show us the percentages of all of our runes. So out of all my top 400 runes, again, taking my filters into consideration, 11% of that is going to be my violent runes, 9% of that is going to be my despair runes, so on and so forth. And then I did go through and add in the average percentage difference for max hero and max legends. That way it can help players focus on where they need to farm. So in my case, I have a little bit of room for Swift, I have a little bit of room for Fight, and a little bit of room for Intangible. So I probably need to farm in those areas in order to get my runes at or above the quality that I am looking for. Up next, we'll take a look at artifacts. So artifacts has a similar graph. It does not have max hero and max legend, the purple and the orange lines, because you can only actually replace stats. You can't actually grind or gem them. But there are a lot of filters here too. The artifacts, you can pick all of the left side, all of the right side. You can pick specific attributes, of course. You can graph whether it be the artifact efficiency, or you can graph the specific substat amounts the same way you can on runes. On SWGT Personal, the default is going to be top 200, but you can also pick up to 1,000 artifacts that you want to show. Sources, again, we can just ignore that. And if we look at the history, we have that function there too, and you can add the additional player as well. You'll notice that I did pick a historical benchmark there, and you'll notice that I do have quite a big lift. I have been farming artifacts here in February, so I have quite a big lift as far as the overall efficiency of my artifacts. Looks like almost 1.5% all the way down, so that's actually really good. On the bottom here, you can see we also have the top 10 by sub-properties. Same thing as on the runes, it'll highlight in green based on the top filters that you pick. That way you can go through and see which ones are new, especially on guild sites. This is obviously very popular because leaders can go through and see if people are farming to make sure that they are bettering their account. And on SWGT Personal, and if you were on a guild site and you're in your own account, you can actually click on these values and see the artifacts themselves. And before I forget, the graphs for the artifacts, you can also click on this to actually see the artifact as well. So nice little features there. I did go through and add in the update this morning. I did go through and add a single target nuke and multi-target or multi-hit nuke summaries. So this actually takes the total skill plus any crit damage for more, any crit damage for single target, and any crit damage for the first attack, and it adds those up. So if I were to click on this artifact here, you'll see that it has the 12, 11, and it has the 8, which makes up, of course, the 31. So just really nice to find those single target nukes and or a multi-target or multi-hit nukes. Now switching over to the guild side. On the guilds, we're going to go to guild members, and I'm just going to go for myself because I don't want to show off anybody else's runes. So on the guild side, things are a little bit different here. You'll notice that there are more lines. You'll also notice that there are more options. So for instance, you can add in standard deviations, which shows us the overall spread, right? The green line is going to be the highest rune quality that we have in the guild. The red line is going to be the person with the lowest quality in the guild. Good news is I'm not the lowest, which is great, and I'm not in the lowest of the standard deviations. I'm actually pretty close to the guild average for the guild that I am currently in. This data is really old. I only uploaded my own character to JSON this morning just so that I can have the latest quality. That way I'm not giving away any secrets. But that being said, you'll notice that there is a guild average line too. So taking all the runes for all the players in the entire guild, this is the average, of course, for everybody that is in the guild. And so, as you move down the graph, you can actually see that I am moving above the line. And same as on the personal site, if you are in your own account, you can click on the rune and you can actually see that rune itself. We have a lot of filters here too, all the same filters that you're going to see on the personal side. Plus, you can actually pick specific guilds too, as far as the additional guild averages. And then you can pick any sort of player that is in your guild or that you are authorized to for your guild permissions as well. So that is a nice feature there too. Runes don't show you the top substats for guild sites. That is a SWGT personal feature only. But the artifacts do, of course, show all of the top 10 substats by properties. And all of the filters are there too as well. There is one more feature that I'm not going to show, only because it would show people's rune graphs. But under the guild menu on guild sites, you can go to guild rune analysis and or guild artifact analysis. And these two are going to graph every player's runes. Each person has one line, as well as there will be a guild average and a standard deviation as well. So really nice features if you want to see where you are as far as in the guild itself, as far as all your players' runes. But again, I'm not going to show it off here because of privacy concerns. And that's pretty much it for the rune and artifact graphs. They're really great tools. They're used by a whole lot of people. I hope that this video has helped everybody at least understand more about the graphs and some of the little nooks and crannies and features that, of course, we have. And if you have any questions, you can just post them on Discord. I'm always happy to hear new ideas and ways to make things better. And that's it for today. I just wanted to say a thank you to all the Patreon members who subscribe to SWGT and to all the people that constantly give feedback about the platform. It's only through your support and efforts that SWGT is what it is today. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We all make SWGT better together. And with that, don't forget to smash those like buttons, and I'll see all of you on the battlefield.